What's up, everybody? Philip Bridges here. Today we are talking about uh, electric, kind of like instant hot water tanks. Not really a whole house instant electric hot water tank, but just kind of like a point of use. I needed some hot water out in my barn because we're getting some calves, and so we need to have a little bit of warm water to bottle feed these calves and everything like that. So, been always kind of like fascinated about the point of use hot water, instant hot waters, heaters, because you know all you gotta do is get power to them. You don't have to vent them. You don't, it's a lot less hassle. But in the same sense, is you have to get power to them, and you have to get a lot of power to them. I got the Stiebel uh, Electron, like little like 9,000 watt point of use hot water tank, and it draws 40 amps, 220, 240, whatever it takes, right? Uh, but that's kind of a lot of power, and you may not have that power in certain areas of your home. But out in my well room, I have 100 amps, a little 100 amp panel in here, so it was kind of like a no-brainer to me to get it because I do have gas out here, and I do have it vented from, if you can see, I do have it vented actually for an old hot water tank that was in here when I bought the place, and it was just all kind of the tank was just shot. I tore it out and everything like that. But the price of a new hot water tank was which high flow or high efficiency one. That's like $600 to $800 depending on what type you get. And so I've been looking at point of use ones, and this one was only about 150, 170 bucks, and that's where it got me. Is I don't need a lot of hot water out here, but I do need a couple gallons here or there for certain stuff, and so the price and for what I needed, I think was really good. So how I hooked this up, I had PEX. I put PEX out in here. I had this the other plastic plumbing, and I tore it all out. The previous homeowners did that, so I redid everything in PEX. So I had to tap into it. So what I did is I put a T in the cold. I cut that in, and I put a T in where the hot is, and I basically ran lines down to where I have the tank now, where I set it, and I put valves right in, shut-off valves in before you hook up the tank, because that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you can shut the water off if something ever goes wrong with the unit itself. So I put in 1/2-inch valves, easy shut-offs right there. And so I'm only probably about 12 feet away from the panel, which was really nice. So I just ran 1/2-inch conduit out of the panel, and this whole room is plywood pretty much, so I was easily be able to anchor it. But I didn't want to go directly into the unit with pipes, so what I did is I went to a 4x4 box and then went into the unit in flex. So when I pushed my wire for this unit, I didn't have any junction in the box whatsoever. I made sure I had long enough wires coming through the box so I can easily push it through the flex. That way I don't have any wire nuts or anything like that. That's just one less termination spot and something else to go wrong with in the future. But and then I hooked these up to the unit. It takes 40 amps, like I said, so that's 8-gauge wire, 10 for the ground, stranded, and I hooked them up to the unit. And now when hooking these up, especially with this unit, the terminals that I had to go into, it was a pain in the butt to get the wires into the terminal clamps. I don't know if they put the wrong terminal clamps in, because they were pretty much set up for 10-gauge wire, and I had to hook up 8 gauge for 40 amps, and they did not want to go in. So a couple beers later and me cussing, I finally was able to get them in. Of course, you know, my last one I had to put in was the 8 ground, and that just, or the 10 ground, and that just slid right into the clamp, and I clamped it down. And I was like, WTF, you know, why couldn't it be that easy before? Because I spent like half hour trying to get the wires into the unit, and they just didn't want to go. So after you hook it all up, then you have to flip the breaker on for the unit, and then you test out the unit. Now on this unit, it has a flow regulator, and you can adjust it. So if you're not getting hot enough water that you need, you can decrease that flow rate on your unit, and it will cut back the water flow, and it will raise the temperature of the water itself. And so when it does that, you're not going to have, like, you know, gushing hot water coming out of your faucet, which that's okay with me. I rather have a little trickle of hot water that's, you know, 120 degrees, and use the cold water to actually kind of like mix it together and, you know, get it like that, instead of, you know, having it come out at like, you know, 60 pounds or 40 pounds of pressure, and, you know, have a good stream of hot water, but, you know, it's not really hot water, it's lukewarm. I'd rather, you know, like I said, just have a nice little stream of hot water, but it's hot and it's consistent, and then I'll add, you know, add the cold to mix that up with. So that was, you know, this project, I thought it was going to take about 2 hours to do, and it took probably about three to four. A lot of it was due to the clamps on the unit. I'll put links in the description below of where I got the unit I got, you know, and what unit I got. But there's other ones out there. There's even 110 ones that you can plug in. But, like, you know, if you're looking for a spot that you want a little bit more hot water, or you need hot water but you don't need a lot of it, just, you know, a couple gallons here or there, look at Point of Use hot water tanks, because they have them all the way down. You know, I got the 40 amp version, which was 9,000 watts, but you can get ones that only draw about 120 volts, so you can just plug them into a regular like 20 amp outlet, and you can get some hot water where you need it. This is great for cabins, little cabins. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't think it will do a shower, but if, you know, you have a cabin and you want to have some hot water out there, that it would really help. But then you can, you know, I want to see if I can do this with a low flow shower head, and maybe have like a warm shower. You don't need a hot shower out in my area that I have, my little cabin loft area out on the property. Just kind of interesting to see if it will do something like that. Just so you know too, I am not a licensed plumber. You know, check your codes and in your area to see what you can use and what type of electrical stuff that you can use. I chose to pipe it. You can Romex it. You know, we do Romex here because I am an electrician, but, you know, there are pros and cons to everything. Pros and cons to pipe, pros and cons to Romex. That's another story for everybody, and everybody has their own theory on that. But anyways, if you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I like to do these how-to videos for people that, you know, you don't have to be a professional to do this stuff. It's just a little bit of knowledge, so you can save a little money. You put a little money back in your pocket, you know, around the house. Just, you know, I know how times are, you know, people want to try to do stuff their own, but they don't do it when, you know, they can't do it. So what do? We go to YouTube, and we love YouTube. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button down below. Comment if you have any comments. Don't be too brutal. I'm Philip Bridges, and I'll talk to you later.